Good morning friends, welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Kat, and if you're new here, we've been baking our way through some of my best friends of cookies by Emelia Jackson. We have just made these raspberry white chocolate cornflake biscuits. I've got the second batch of them in the oven as we're speaking right now. And I thought, given that I have to be in the kitchen to keep an eye on them anyway, I might make the next recipe, which are blackberry cheesecake biscuits, which sound very nice as well. So at the very least I'll get the cheesecake filling part made because that needs to get made and stuck in the freezer while you make the rest of the dough. So let's just get into that and we'll see how far we get. So to start off, to make the cheesecake filling, you need 300 grams of cream cheese. And these blocks are, of course, 250 grams. So I'm going to look for a recipe that I can use the extra 200 grams of filly in when we're done here. So that was 60 grams of icing sugar, and this is supposed to be the zest of 2 lemons, but my tree is not fruiting. Well, it is fruiting, but none of them are ripe yet. So I've only got 1 lemon. So I'm going to make sure I get every tiny little bit of zest off of this lemon. To try and make up for the fact that I've only got 1, not 2. And then we need 2 teaspoons of vanilla. So now we're just going to beat this together. So while the cheesecake mixture is beating, we're going to add 350 grams of plain flour along with a teaspoon of bicarb and half a teaspoon of salt. We're just going to whisk that together and set it aside. Once the cheesecake mixture is smooth, we form 2 teaspoon sized balls of cheesecake mixture and pop that in the freezer while we make the rest of the dough. And I was meant to get 16, but I ended up with 23. So here we've got 210 grams of butter, and we're adding 80 grams of brown sugar and 120 grams of caster sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and 1 egg. And we're going to cream this together. So to this we're going to add our flour mixture. And just slowly mix this until it's combined. And to this, we're going to add 200 grams of white chocolate chips. And then we're going to add 125 grams of roughly chopped blackberries. I'm basically just chopping the big ones into 3 and the smaller ones either in half or leaving them whole, depending upon what size they are. And it says once you add these, not to mix it too much because it will turn the dough grey. So we're just going to add them and then mix it just enough to combine. So I'm just going to see if I can completely encase a cheesecake ball in the small scoop. Because I really don't want to use the large scoop. And I can. So the cheesecake balls are not completely frozen, but they definitely are firmer. And the warmth of my hands makes the dough fairly sticky. So what I'm going to do, I will do probably 6 on a tray. This recipe is meant to make 16. But as I said before, I've got 23 little balls of cheesecake. So I'll just see how many I can get. They're still going to be pretty large biscuits because the filling makes them bigger. And these need to bake at 200 degrees for 15 minutes. So I got all 23 wrapped, plus 3 with no cheesecake filling. And I'm just going to pop these ones in the fridge while the ones that are in the oven finish baking. So I still have the second batch baking, and then I've got the 3 that don't have a cheesecake filling to bake as well. But I thought, seeing as though this first batch is cool, we would give them a try now. I really like the way these look. You can see the cheesecake filling. They are a little bit grey, but I think that's fine. These are very interesting. You don't really get a lot of blackberry flavour. The main flavour is actually the lemon cheesecake. The outside is crunchy. They are quite nice. I'd be interested to try the ones that don't have any cheesecake filling to see if they've got more of a blackberry forward flavour. But I think these will be very nice. Thank you for being here with me today as we made these blackberry cheesecake biscuits. If you would like, I will pop another video here that you can enjoy between now and my next upload. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I can't wait to see you next time. It is time for me to go and meet my sister for lunch. So I will see you next time. Bye for now.